we go into our fingertip kneading to the scalp now. So moving on from the neck to the scalp. So my fingers are moving with the skin underneath them. Just like you might get at a hairdresser. Fingertip kneading to the scalp. Now palms resting either side of the temples and doing circular kneading. So with the fingertip kneading to the scalp, you can cover the entire scalp if you like and spend as long doing it as you want, as what might fit into the sequence. So the palm and kneading to the temples, and then we move back to the scalp and we're doing circular fingertip kneading around the hairline. So we're starting at the center on the front and gradually circling our way around that hairline down towards the temples. So our fingertip kneading to the scalp, all around that scalp. And we moved into our flat palm kneading to the temples. And we went back to the scalp and did our fingertip or finger pad kneading along the hairline towards the temples. And then we move into circular thumb kneading to the center of the scalp. So I've started in the midline, circles in the same direction, the skin is moving with our thumbs, and we're gradually making our way backwards towards the table. So down the center, that midline of the skull. Circular thumb kneading to the scalp. And then our fingertips rest on the forehead again, but this time we're moving towards the brow. So last time we went around the hairline, now we're circling our way to the brow before we do our compressions around the eyes. So working your way around the brow to the temples and jawline. You should feel the muscles of the jaw under your fingers as you're doing those circular fingers. And then alternating pinch kneading to the jawline, so just light pinching of the skin. So watching that again, going to go from our circular kneading around the temples, down the jawline, the muscles of the jaw, and then we're pinch kneading that jaw. So just light pinching of the skin. So light pinch kneading of the jaw. And then we go into a alternating thumb stroke from nose to hairline. So we're just at the bridge of the nose, alternating strokes towards the hairline. Straight down the midline. Now I'm going to pause here. So index finger compressions. My index fingers are applying pressure just on the very corner where the nose meets the brow. So you might notice there's a little indentation in the bone and the tissue there. Our fingers are resting just in that spot, and we're applying a light pressure into that region. Now this is going to be one where you need to get feedback from your patient while you're getting used to applying the technique, so you won't know just yet how much pressure to apply. Start with some light pressure, so not superficial. Apply a little bit of pressure into there where you feel the fingers engage the tissues, and then check how the pressure is for your client. So index finger compressions into the upper part of the eye socket, and we hold for about 10 seconds. Pausing here, The thumbs then go and rest on the lower part of the eye socket. So you can see I'm not contacting the eye. Find the lower edge of the eye socket, that ridge, rest on it, and then roll your thumb just slightly back onto the top portion of that ridge. Again, check pressure with your client, and then we can hold that pressure for about 10 seconds. So pushing down onto the cheekbones there. And then fingertips or fingers under the cheekbones and pulling up. So we had upward compression in the eye, the top of the eye socket, downward onto the bottom of the eye socket, and then again upward under. Thumb strokes out from the nose across the cheekbones. You can see a bit of pressure applied there. And then moving back to our circular fingers to the temples to jawline. And then from here, instead of pinch kneading the jaw, we're going down to pinch kneading the ear. So just as we did with the jaw, just light pinching. So we might have a look at those again with our eye socket compressions. So from the pinch kneading of the jaw, we started with our alternating thumbs nose to hairline, and then the fingertips of our index fingers go into the corner of the upper part of the eye socket. So between the bridge and the brow, applying some pressure and pulling up towards the head of the table and holding. Thumbs resting on the lower ridge of the eye socket. You can roll just onto the top of it, and we're pushing down towards their shoulders and holding. And then fingers under the cheekbones, and we're pulling back up towards us. So we've got pressure up, pressure down, pressure up. And then we're stroking out from nose around the base of those cheekbones towards the muscles of the jaw. And going back into our circular fingers to the temples, down to the jawline, before we go into our pinch kneading of the ear. So practice the face sequence a couple of times. It'll take you a little while to get it all in your head and flow well. So lots of practice for this face, neck and scalp sequence. So after our pinch kneading, we go into what's called the long prayer stroke. I'm going to pause here. So you can see I've reached forward, forearms come together either side of the face on the cheeks. So I've got the flat portion of the forearms. My hands come together. So I'm creating this V. They call it the long prayer stroke because you're in this prayer position. And my arms are sliding backwards towards me. Hands following right along the side of that jawline, over the cheeks, around the temples, to the side. And then we meet the heels of the hand in the center. And we do our heel of the hand to the forehead. So long prayer stroke, gliding over those cheeks, and then heels of the hands meet in the center like another short prayer, and splitting those hands out across the forehead. And then from there we do our thumb stroking nose to hairline again. So this is the second time we've done this one. And our tapping on the forehead. So the first time we've done any tapping now in the sequence. So light tapping just over the forehead. thumb stroking nose to hairline, and then going into our tapping on the forehead. So very light percussive technique, light to potent. And then we go into what's called hot hand compression, so rubbing our hands together to build up some warmth, some heat. Don't rub your hands over the patient or client's face. Rub your hands out to the side, build up some warmth, and then we're pausing here, resting either the heels of the hands on the forehead and the cup hand rests above the patient's face, or we can just hover the hands completely over the client's face. So we're not resting the hands on the face. You can rest the heels on the forehead and hover those hands. And then we're holding the crown, gentle squeezing, and then stroking through the hair.